Alright, we better stop. I figured I'm on the wrong road, but we can't go any further in that one. So, here's the view though. Pretty gnarly country, huh? Remember we were up there?
Yeah.
We're right there. That's where they got the screenshot. There's my finger. I can't see shit on the screen, but that's where Sarah and I were that time, right there. Alright, here we go. Finally made it back. Probably look bloodshot-eyed, tired, but whatever. You know you're living life as best you can when you're tired, right? Maybe, who knows, I don't know, I'm babbling. Weird, you see the light beams coming from the ceiling of the boat here. There's that light up there. Looks kind of weird. I don't know if it's picking up when I edit this or load it or not. But anyway, I'm in the boat. Got the microphone. Got the laptop for the camera. I think it's going to save a pile of time. What am I doing? Finished a couple days on the water. And met some terrific people from Germany who had a lot of knowledge of things that have gone on in the past, things that are going on today, especially when it comes to these forest people and other things. Very interesting trip that was. Had another repeat guy from Alberta came today. Showed me some creepy pictures. I got to get that off him too to share with all you. Frustrating day. He came here for one day and we fished hard all day. And he figured he probably battled 25 salmon today. And we lost an honest 30-plus pound salmon right out of the boat. Oh, so hard to take because you want these people to have the best experience ever, right? But he managed to get his limit in salmon at the last half of the day anyways. Thank God, and we sent him off. So anyway, I don't know what I got. 3 more days left here. Then I think I go home for a couple, continue to get all my stuff ready to go hunting. And then I come back out for a handful more days, and then that's it. We go up north, and I have a feeling it's going to be a real interesting fall. Don't you? Anyway, I hope this is working. I haven't a clue. I guess I'll find out in a bit. But it's story time. It's bedtime story time for me. Now, where can I sit and do this. I think this will probably work like this. Now, who do we got? What do we got? This is from the recent emails on the inbox. I think I can hold this. Where am I going to hold this? How can I do this? This ought to work. Okay, now listen to this. This is from our good friend Robert Duvall. This man has spent a lifetime investigating much, a lot. He knows a lot, and I listen when he speaks. Anyway, sent us an email and it's titled "The Pathways and the Sticks." I can't tell you how many times things changed from on the way in to on the way out. In Washington, the paths they use are not that wide through the Salal, maybe 1.5 feet on the actual earth, but in the Salal itself, not that wide. I know these paths because I study them, and when convinced it's not game, I go in. Now I don't even bother with looking that closely because I know them now. The dirt is flattened by flat feet walking on it. No hoof marks, no animal prints. They always mark the entrance to a path either by breaking branches on the side or by laying them down, glyph-like markers. If there is a path branching off of the one you followed in, it is marked as well. I'm sure I'm not telling you anything new here. All it takes is observation. But I have had what I saw going in change while in. I even take pictures sometimes and catch it digitally. Most of the time, these paths lead to an area where they are protected and do what they do. Lots of stuff like sticks laid onto logs or other structures. It's all the usual goings-on I have seen hundreds of times in the Pacific Northwest. My best outings were by Mount Rainier. Hell breaks loose there. I took a friend with me on a walk once in a wooded park we frequented as teenagers, and he stopped dead in his tracks and asked, "What in the hell is that?" As we rounded a corner, and there was a structure propped up on a tree. I had told him we were going to an active place. In fact, I said nothing to him, and he was completely uninitiated at that point to the subject. There never had been a reason to bring it up. I've known this guy since age 14. Our trust in each other is non-negotiable. I had to explain it, feeling really stupid momentarily. Now that I live in New Mexico and he visits me, he points stuff out to me. I see stuff blocking a pathway. I'm going in. It's automatic. Here in New Mexico, they visit the house regularly, especially during the summer months, and I find stuff changing that they put down while I am home during the day. I have the same in Washington State. As long as they don't bother me, I don't care. They know how short my fuse is, and it seems I never have to remind them to leave me the F alone. They left me a gift that was reminiscent of the old burned-out old growth cedar stumps hollowed out and even several tens of feet tall. Sorry, typo. Hit one too many times by lightning. They treat these like altars, decorating them and leaning sticks up against them. I think we share that appreciation. And so they left me 2 burnt-out logs in my driveway, centered at my gate where I had to get out to open it. I have one of them at my entry. I did field work to become familiar with them indirectly, but a few times I crashed their parties. Stories for another time. Take care, Rob Duvall. Okay, man, gotcha. Picking up what you're putting down. So this is in reply to just recently when Sarah and I walked the river. We walked the river, and maybe nobody heard. Some of you didn't hear that last video, but it was the one before this one. And the pathway, how can I describe it? I mean, I've seen some horrendous game trails everywhere in my lifetime. It's no big deal. I've seen some elk trails that would make your head spin. But this trail, this is on a stretch of the river where no one goes. There's nowhere to swim there. There's nowhere to fish there. And on the, what I call the person's side of the river, you got to go straight up the bank, a very steep, timbered, thick bush bank, and you have to go up about 100 yards, 150 yards to get to an old dirt road, and that's how we get there. And then if you walk down the river like we did, there's nothing there. Nobody goes there, and on the opposite side of the river, down there, there's nothing. And this trail that was smashed down into the ground looked as though, how can I describe that trail? It looked like a trail would look if it was a popular trail right next to a high school where all the kids cut through a chunk of trees to get to the corner of the soccer field. And they've been doing that for generations. That trail was probably, I don't know, if I'd put a tape measure across the bottom on the ground, nearly 24 inches wide, and the ground and the grass and everything had been absolutely stomped and walked on. It seems like forever. But here's the weird thing. It comes out of that deep, dark timber, and it goes to the edge of the river, and it doesn't go anywhere else. And there's nowhere to swim there. There's nowhere to fish there. There's no bear shit on top of it. It's not a bear trail. There's bear trails everywhere around my place. It's very odd, but then, and no big deal. For me, whatever. Note taken. Carry on. I'm looking for my GoPro. And then when Sarah, she was pretty bewildered when I was watching her reaction, watching her body language and how she was reacting. And she was really bewildered, like, what? How? I just saw them. They're right there, those 7 sticks. And then I looked over, and that's when I saw the 4 sticks that were about the girth of my wrist. Maybe 4 foot tall sticks. 4 of them placed against a tree like you would lean a hockey stick against the wall in the garage, whatever. You know what I mean? So there you go. Are they there? We know they're there. Do they have my axe? Yes, I want it back. But anyways, am I going to go in there and snoop around anymore? I don't have the need to. I don't feel the drive to. Whatever. They're there. I'm there. We live side by side. Are they going to talk to me? I don't know. I'm game. If they want to get a hold of me and do the telepathy communicating, give her. Why not? I'm neighborly. I'll talk to you. I love to talk and have some questions answered and have a conversation. None of this one sentence communicating thing. But anyway, there you go. There you go. I'm babbling. I'm quite tired. I hope it made sense there. So I get it. Now we have somebody else with a lot of experience who confirmed that things change on the way in and the way out, and rapidly and before your eyes. Why? I don't know yet. Am I going to find out? I'm going to try my damnedest. Now, here's a long one, I think. All right, this might be the bedtime story for tonight. It's going to start to put me to sleep. Not that's going to take much. What do we got here? Now, let me try to reposition everything here, maybe. I got to move my body to get more. All right, now I can kind of lean against the wall. I hope this microphone is listening to me properly, because I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this again, if not this evening. Now, this is titled 3 Experiences a Girl from Southern Ontario. Hi, Steve. Please don't share my name. No problem, I got you. Maybe just call me Alex. But I'll share my name with you as I feel it adds. But I will share my name with you as I feel it adds credibility. I wrote this down September 13th, 2023, but I'm sending it today, August 8th, 2024. It took me this long to send it to you. Well, you've kind of been waiting long enough to have it read right away then. There you go. You got lucky. To start, and I think it's weird that I'm compelled to share my experiences with you now, and not before now. I just watched your personal encounter video with the giant log against the castle doors sound experience. Ooh. My dad is the one that first introduced me to David Plottis. Growing up, I always believed in the supernatural. My mom is a businesswoman and super straight edge. My dad's a musician and says he's seen it all. But both have such integrity. They talked to me and my brother when we were young and told us about how they had seen UFOs in the back porch of our first house. The neighborhood saw it, and a bunch of people called 911. This would have been in the 90s. My dad also told us of a very supernatural experience with a hairy being. From what he told me, his experience doesn't sound like what we know of as Bigfoot, but he was a believer in all things Bigfoot and supernatural after this. His experience took place before I existed. Oops, sorry. I think I get it, why it's hard to come forward now. Just thinking about asking him if he wants to share his story ties my stomach in knots. And I'm shocked at myself that I wrote the majority of my experiences down last year and haven't wanted to press send since then. Anyway, like I was saying, my dad introduced me to Dave Plaitis, all the way back to From the Coast to Coast days. And I've been a believer ever since. As well as he is the one who introduced me to you much later. I've been following you for years now. He said, "You're going to love this guy," and he was right. So with my own experiences under my belt, I'm not sure if my experiences were before or after or during when I found out that other families believe in Bigfoot. Meaning, I grew up with my dad knowing he had those experiences and being introduced to people like Dave Plaitis, so I've had varying stages of belief and interest in the topic. I don't really remember or know when, in between all of that I had my own experiences. So I'm late 30s. Sorry, this has been a long day. So I'm late 30s female who loves the outdoors. I have some experiences I haven't shared until now as I don't know what to make of them. I'll start with I used to camp with friends in rural Ontario, Canada by the rocky Saugeen River. Probably didn't pronounce it right. Saugeen River. Saugeen River. Past the farmland into the woods, it was bear country. This is where my friend and their family owned property. They were very wildery? They were very wildery people. New word for me, wildery. Experience number 1 is so vivid, yet it almost doesn't feel real, and I still question it. I've never made up anything like this before or since, except for one other experience I'll share next after this one. Please, by all means, comment. Tell me what you think. So, in my early 20s, our group of friends would come visit this cabin with multiple campsites going into the woods. We'd all tent around different sites as the worn paths would lead from one site to another. Each site had a fire pit and would have a few tents around it. It was so fun to follow these paths and visit all my friends around their sites. At night, we would drink and congregate around one particular site fire. I think it's for this reason I've never shared this experience. With the drinking involved, I guess I don't feel it's credible. I don't even know what to make of it myself. Drinking's got shit to do with it, as far as I'm concerned. I don't care. That doesn't make you see hairy beings. So I'm not prone to making up stories in my mind, but it's almost hard to believe for me even now. But the images that are burned into my memory are clear as a bell. So I will share this with you and the crew and see what you guys think. I remember standing around the fire. I don't know if I had a lot of alcohol, but often had drinks around this time of night, so I could have had some. I'm to the left of the fire pit, looking out into the left side of the woods. My friends are all around the fire pit. Some standing, some in camping chairs. You know how the woods around gets all dark, and sometimes that warm glow of the pit makes it hard to see into the woods around it. It was kind of like that, but it wasn't that late yet. It was heavy woods all around, apart from this little site clearing we were in, and the tree cover made it quite dark, because it wasn't too late yet. It wasn't pitch black yet. So I'd describe everything as the blue-gray hue of evening darkness. Staring out into the woods, there's nothing but tons and tons of foliage. So in my field of vision, it's all green. From the bush on the ground to the mid-level plants to the trees, etc. So the full image is all green, with that veil of blue shadow that comes in the evening before pure darkness. As I'm staring out, I see a silhouette, like a head and shoulders amongst all the dense green forest. I can't see a body, as it seems this person blends perfectly into the nature. As I stare at it, its eyes looking right at me, and we hold eye contact. I felt like I could see distinct whites of its eyes and irises, but the rest really blended in. It had long hair, shoulder-length silhouette of hair, and what seemed to be a beard, but all of it seemed to blend in with the background of the green forest with the evening shadows on it. I was transfixed. Then I got to thinking I better tell my friends there's a man here at our camp, because that's not normal to have a man so close to camp standing silently behind us. I think I got that feeling that he/it wasn't dangerous, just there, just present in the moment, that I didn't want anything more than just that. My instincts told me a man shouldn't be right there, quietly staring a few feet behind camp. But I also somehow knew this interaction was simple. That's all it was. He was there, and that's all it was going to be. So I didn't want to break eye contact, and I didn't want to lose sight of it, so I searched for a marker to remember its position. In the foreground, there is a tree in our sight with an orange vest hung on a branch. I don't know if it was a life jacket or what, so I remember he was to the left of that. I break eye contact with it, and it almost felt like slow motion where it deliberately closed its eyes. It happened so slowly, like as its eyes closed, its silhouette of head shape and shoulders became one with the forest. It became part of the background. I turned my head to the right to tell my friends, who were all busy talking, having fun, that there is a guy there. I couldn't really get the words out right. That thing recording? Yeah, it is, thank God. I felt like I was in slow-mo. I turned my head back to the left, just to the left of that orange vest, and it's nothing but forest. I really wondered if that even ever happened or not. I still wonder. I was able to tell my friends that I saw a guy out there, some kind of half listened, but I wasn't able to explain in detail in any real believable way. Just, I saw a guy. I'm sure they would have believed me if he was at all visible to anyone else, especially being so close to camp as I thought he was. I think some, or one or two, looked around a bit, and I stayed real close to the group the rest of that night. Crazy. Experience number 2. I have no idea when this happened in relation to the other experiences, as we camped here quite a few times in the summer from my early 20s to my late 20s. This experience I'm 100% certain of, as there was no alcohol involved and it was bright daytime. In the daytime, most of our group would spend their time by the river or the main cabin. Both those areas were more in a clearing. I often would go back to my campsite in the forest and do a workout in the woods. One of my favorite moments, connecting in nature. Push-ups, some kickboxing stuff. There were chairs and a picnic table that I would use. I was very fit, and this was a priority for me. So, 20 minutes to half an hour alone time in nature I thought was healthy. Sometimes I would get creeped out by the woods, and say things like, "Leave me be," or, "I won't be long and I'll leave," either in my mind or out loud. Sometimes I'd get so creeped out that I would stop mid-workout and go back up to the trail of the cabin or lake with the others. Well, this one time I was out there doing my thing alone. I got the creeps, decided to leave, and as I'm going up this one trail toward the cabin, I was terrified. Neck hairs standing up, etc. I went from walking fast to jogging to running. In my mind, I was saying, quote, I'm going, end quote, or something like that. I remember bursting from the woods to where I felt was safety. All my friends sitting around the cabin, clearing. I must have made a bit of scene as they laughed. I just played it off as I had been jogging. What was I going to tell them? I'm running from nothing? I'm running from a bad feeling? Experience number 3. We, my group of friends, varied in size as we had a big group, and it all depended who came up at any given trip. Again, camping at that same place near the Rocky Saugeen River in Ontario, Canada. Often there on weekends or long weekends through the spring to fall. I can't tell you when this experience happened, in which year or part of the season. It was in my 20s. During the period of time we camped at this location. So this experience is the weirdest one for me, of all for me. I can't tell if it was a dream, a delusion, or real. I'd really like to hear from you, Steve, and the crew, any input you might have. Drinking was commonplace in the evenings amongst us in those days, so as much as that deters me from feeling this is real, I'll tell you I've never made up stories in my mind or memory after having drinks, so here it goes. Somehow it was pitch dark, as I was on the shoulders of something, or more so, draped over its left shoulder or in its left arm. I could only see ahead of me, not what was carrying me, and I couldn't feel my body. I guess I felt limp. And my whole experience was about what I could see and feel on my face. Although being pitch dark, I could see all the brush and all the leaves. I could see the trees above us and the tree cover that gave way to the sky. We were traveling fast. It must have been running as we were whipping through the forest, near and just outside of the campsite, as I recognized the area and knew where we were. The leaves were whipping my face, but they didn't sting much and was kind of pleasant. This was so much fun. It was like an adventure. The speed must have been a lot because I felt I felt wind in my hair / or face. I remember being a bit delirious and then really nauseous for a second, but only for a second, and then it was fun again. I felt safe, and I felt like we were frolicking in this late night forest adventure. I do think my head fell to the side, and I felt nauseous again, but that was it. It was mostly a fun experience. Somehow I feel I was gently put back inside my camp somewhere. This is a memory, I think. Again, clear as a bell. It feels 100% like an experience that happened to me. I do not feel like it was a dream. Nothing about it feels like a dream, because I don't know or remember how this experience came about or ended. Of course, my rational mind cannot explain it, so I've never spoken of it. I think I may have brought it up to my dad while hiking, both of us being knowers, etc. But again, I don't think I was able to explain or describe it well. I guess I'm glad I wrote it down today. I gave you all the details I could. I'll probably get my dad to watch this episode if he received this email and share it. Thank you for listening. Please, anyone comment, as it would be nice to know what you think. P.S. Thanks, Steve. You and Dave feel like friends. I think it's because you speak from the heart. I'm not a big internet person, but what a blessing to feel a part of the safe community you've created for us. I hike alone in areas with deer, but it's areas near a golf course and tons of humans around. I don't camp anymore, as I love the peace of being alone in the woods, and I don't think I would feel safe anymore to enjoy that. I don't hike anywhere that isn't surrounded by urban areas. It just doesn't feel safe to me anymore. I used to love being alone in nature. Wow, I finally did it. Thanks for letting me share. Eager to hear you or anyone's opinions. Alex. Wow. Well, we all know that I'm no expert on much. But what I do have come to learn to understand when it comes to people sharing their emails here is it takes a lot of courage, a lot of guts to do it for a lot of people, right? And I get it. And I also understand that a lot of people who email in, their experience may not sound like much to a stranger listening to this, but I always try to picture everything from behind everyone else's eyes or somebody else's eyes, right? And when we get somebody hearing a roar, vibrate, whatever, you got to think of the impact these experiences leave on these people. They remember it vividly for years, right? It takes them forever to talk about it openly. So when you think about it that way, these are some substantial and potential common life-changing experiences, right? That's what I hope everybody focuses on, not the, oh, I really like that one, or that one wasn't that great. That's bullshit. We need to hear from everyone. We need everyone to come forward and be brave and share, like Alex just did. Now, what do I think, Alex? I think for me, I know something else is going on all around us that most of us aren't aware of. All of us aren't supposed to be aware of for some odd reason. I don't know that reason yet. And I believe you definitely had some kind of experience, and maybe, possibly, if it is these experiences or whatever happens, if our memories are intentionally wiped, I have a feeling they screwed up with yours and they didn't quite wipe it all out. That's what I'm thinking. But I find it's a little sad for me to hear another person who won't go camping anymore, won't go hiking in the woods anymore, only when there's people around, And to me, that makes me somewhat angry because that's theft of quality of life, and that's bullshit. It's not cool to hear about people losing quality of life. I hate that. That's why I'm here. Oh, I wish I could change it rapidly and turn it around for all you people out there that will not and do not do things you love to do anymore. It's not fair. We'll see what else somebody might comment for you in the comment section below. All right, Alex? Appreciate you sending it in. And make sure you email us again as your journey unfolds and you learn more, okay? Appreciate you. Good work. You did it. You finally did it. Thank God you found your people to do it with. This next email is titled The Club in a Return, with a picture of our decal sticker. Already had 5 people ask me about what the Club in a Return was about. Well, they asked, so I must tell them the truth. The club is strong in Doylestown, Ohio. Thanks for all you do, Steve. Kevin Ritter, a dedicated member and knower. Right on, Kev. Here it is. There you go, another one. Another member. Getting people talking. There you go. He's had 5 people ask. There you go. That's a lot of talking and sharing true knowledge with people, right? This is going to be a big plus. And for all those who might be confused, for me, when I say the Club of No Return, all the Club of No Return means to me is once you know, and there's no going back. It's like a club of no return, right? Once you know, you can't unsee it. What you do, it's up to you, but now you're in the club. Didn't ask for it, did you? None of us did, but now you're in it, and you can't get out of this club. Once you're in this club, there's no exit. You don't even need a tattoo to sew you in. All right. What else? Who else? What do we got? Mark, this is red. Man, I gotta go to sleep. Gotta go to sleep. All right. I can get this one more in. I'm gonna squeak it in, and then I'm going to bed. I gotta get up at 4. Another cat and the researchers. It's an odd title. Howdy, Steve. Glad to see you're still on the right side of the grass. I recently sent you an article of the Sasquatch War, information for those who didn't know. I've also sent you 2 other emails since my first in 2019 about the big cat. Those were basically a more detailed explanation of the original incident and some of the things that happened as a result of the original incident and my sharing of it. And oh, by the way, excuse me, since you already shared my name, it's all right. You can't do anything to me that hasn't already been done 2 or 3 times anyway. Now to the most recent happenings. A year ago, I was making my way along the Caney River bank, Caney River bank, on the west and upper side of Hula Lake to see if I could catch a few crappie and to see if they had started to move up to spawn. It was still cool, and I recall the water temperature was still a bit cool. My hopes were that perhaps some males had started to move up and start making the spawning beds. In this area, there are several large farms, and the tree and brush growth can be dense in areas, especially the further north you go. I was in an area not quite 10 miles from the Kansas/Oklahoma border, a place I have fished almost yearly for the past 40 plus years. The last several years, I have come across, for the lack of a better word, squatters, people living in tents and shelters from fallen trees and brush. These people have, for the most part, left me alone, and when they have spotted me, these people have, for the most part, left me alone when they have spotted me, but when they have, they didn't hesitate to hit me up for spare change. Some of my catch. I don't go into the woods unarmed, and I always wear my sidearm in plain sight, so these people could easily see I was armed. There were women and even small children living in these areas with their parents. Ah, that kills me. It's hard not to want to help them, But at the same time, I find it hard to understand why these people aren't employed. There is no shortage of jobs to be had here, especially on these large farms. That's odd. On this particular day in the first week of April, I was walking through a fairly dense area on a well-established game trail to get to where I wanted to start fishing. It was a walk of about 3/4 of a mile. Being the time of year that it was in Oklahoma, it was also time to start looking for morel mushrooms. A little early yet, but this is Oklahoma. You never know. I was walking along looking around the ground and occasionally off the trail for mushrooms when I looked down at the trail and noticed a paw print, and then another one. I started to keep right on walking. Then I, for some reason, I still can't understand why, went back and knelt down beside the tracks. These were cougar tracks. Not an overly large cat, but definitely an adult. If you ask just about any game warden here in Oklahoma if there are cougars here, they will emphatically tell you no. Douchebags. I decided to follow the cat because it dawned on me that he was headed in the same direction as the squatters' encampment. I didn't recall seeing any of the people carrying a firearm, and the thought of those children out here with no apparent protection got my blood moving. I picked up my pace while keeping my focus on the tracks. I'd gone almost 50 yards when I saw that the cat had fallen in behind another set of prints near the edge of the trail. I stopped, frozen in place, staring at the second set of prints. They were every bit of 18 inches in length, and when I put my size 11 boot next to one, it was easily twice as wide as my boot. I was paralyzed. The memories of my encounter when I was much younger came roaring back at me. The thought of, no, not again, was roaring in my brain. I wanted to turn around and run. I did not want to face that again. I'm not a hero by any means of the word. My concept of a hero is one of my brothers I left in the jungle that didn't make it home. I wanted to run. But the thought of those little kids, the cat, and my nightmare made me remember something I was taught years ago. Never say why me, say why not me. I turned to look down at both prints and told myself, you don't own me. I followed the tracks for another 100 yards or so, and it was evident that the cat was trailing the hairy man. The cat was not straying more than a foot or two from the beast prints, and on several of them, the cat had stepped into the beast's print. I kept going until I heard voices ahead. I stopped and determined that they were not far ahead and that there was more than one person there. A little over 50 yards ahead, I stepped into a clearing and came up to two game wardens, one from Oklahoma, and one from Kansas, and they're standing over what was left of the cat. It was missing the left front leg, and its head was laying off to the side of it a few feet away. Blood was everywhere. The confrontation / battle, whatever you want to call it, it looked like it had happened several hours earlier. The blood was almost black, and a small swarm of insects had already landed for the feast. The wardens saw me, put their heads together as they turned their backs to me as I approached. I asked them what they think happened to the cat, and where do they think it came from. The Kansas warden looked at me and said, it's pretty evident. The cat got into it with a couple of wild hogs and got the short end of the stick. The Oklahoma warden said that the cat was more than likely someone's pet that had gotten out. There are several people who have permits to keep these in the area. I told them, those wild hogs are mean and fast, so fast they don't even leave prints. I then asked them about the squatters and if they were still in the same place up ahead, and they both said no. They were detained earlier in the year until a place could be found for them. I decided talking with these two was wasting energy. I couldn't afford, so I turned around and started the long walk back to the truck. I made several circles around the kill site, but couldn't find any more sign of the beast. I almost got back to the truck when I heard several loud knocks and some fool screaming like he just got castrated. I walked on until I found these 4 guys walking along with ball bats. One of them had a GoPro on his shoulder. I asked them where they were going, and they said they're going to go hide a few trail cameras and make some calls. I asked them, calls for what? One of them then asked me if I believed in Sasquatch, and I told them, no, I don't believe, I already know. I then told them good luck in their adventure, and be careful of the wild hogs. Once again, thank you for everything you do, especially for the children. This world needs more people like you, and Sarah, be safe. This world needs more people like you as well, and everyone else here, all the brave people. That's what we need. And I thank you for the kind words, big time. Oh, that's an interesting one, right? Not the first time. They sure seem to have not a hate on, but they got no problem dropping the bomb on a wild cat when it comes to humans, right? I think we've had 2 or 3 or 4 or more people email in about a cat attack being deterred or prevented by these people. There you go. There you go. A bunch more for everyone to chew on, right? We'll see who knee-jerks to write in their experience or memory or whatever knowledge you got that's going to help the people, or something that seriously needs some serious attention from everyone here. And if you have something like that and you want to send it through me, give her. And that's all I got in me. Bedtime stories are just putting me to sleep. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to bed. I did it, though. It's peaceful out there. Going to be flat, calm on the ocean. Apparently, we're going to go way offshore somewhere tomorrow. 3 of us, 3 boats. It's going to be an adventure. Anyway, share my story at howtohunt.com. All the links to everything you're curious of that's attached to this channel is in the video description below. And thanks for everybody sticking it out here with me and having patience with me, but pre-warn, this is the month of absolute chaos for me. So there. We'll be back in the woods and the mountains real quick. And I'm bringing the satellite dish with me, so I'm going to share it all with you guys. Oh, John B., you know who I'm talking to. We spoke about having you on here before I left, come back out here to the boat on a Zoom call to share knowledge with the people. I don't think I emailed you back, as usual, right? I suck at that sometimes, but you know what's going on with me right now, so there's no way I'm going to be able to pull that off until I get home. Quick message through to you through this route. It's quick and easy. It's easy for me. So we will hook up as soon as I get back, and we'll hit the man cave, and we'll get you on, and we'll get you to share. Uh-oh. Why did the screen just leave? Oh, it's back. Anyways, and we'll get you to, we'll be enthusiastically awaiting for you to share your knowledge with us, with me, through me, together with me, in front of the camera. There you go. Haven't forgot about you. I'll be back. Everybody be safe, and please do what you love to do, and don't listen to the bullshit. Later.